The threat of extremism in Britain is growing by the day. Yes, there is a war between Israel and Hamas, but there is also a war for Britain's streets. There is an urgent Cobra meeting taking place. There is talk of increasing the terror threat level to its highest possible level. And the Met Police want clarity and possibly a change in the law as well to make it easier for them to arrest and prosecute people behaving like radicals. I find it hard to believe that there is a gap in the law that means that police can stand by and watch people climbing statues and letting off flares. The head of the Met Police says that there's a lot of law around terrorism and hate speech, but not a lot about extremism. I don't really want to believe this. I really don't want to believe that this is true. But are the Met and potentially other police forces just sitting on their hands so that they don't do that dreaded thing of inflaming racial tensions? Well, the counter-extremism strategy appears to say extremism is the vocal or active opposition to our fundamental values, including democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty and respect and tolerance for different faiths and beliefs. We also regard calls for the death of members of our armed forces as extremist. Right, OK, well, that's interesting. And obviously you've just been looking at some clips there of people letting off flares at statues around the capital and the police telling them to get down. But there are other issues taking place at the moment, aren't there? I think we've got a clip to play for you very shortly as well. This clip.
We'll have an intifada. From London to Gaza. We'll have an intifada.
Yeah, there you go. So intifada is what they're calling for there. That apparently means a shaking off or an uprising. Right. Well, is that not extremism? Is this not at least a public order offence in light of everything that we're seeing taking place at the moment? I think it's kind of one step down from jihad, isn't it? This stuff poses a clear and direct threat to our way of life. Now, I want to show you something now that is already happening, OK? And you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to happen a heck of a lot more in the run-up to Christmas. A Christmas festival at Kensington Palace, the largest ice skating event in London, has actually already been cancelled. So they say that it's due to recent world events which have affected safety and security in the area near our venue. We've made the decision in consultation with the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea to postpone this winter's event at Kensington Palace to next year. It's going to happen all over the place, isn't it? You just know it. Extremism and the threat of terrorism is affecting our way of life. Things that were normal, things that we enjoy doing, we now can't do because events on a different continent have riled up terrorist sleeper cells in this country. The cenotaph has been barricaded off to protect it from protesters defacing it. That's a complete capitulation, if you ask me. But have a little look and a listen to this as well, because police and government inaction over calls for an intifada or jihad on Britain's streets actually feeds into other types of extremism as well. Now, the far right will be getting very riled up over this. Now, we had a bit of a taste of what those kinds of clashes might look like on Saturday. Now, shortly, I'm going to play you a little video. And before I do that, I want to say that I am not accusing anybody in this clip of being either a fascist or an Islamist. This is just some footage of a skirmish near the cenotaph. Can hear the words white trash being shouted quite a lot there, can't we? But I actually walked through Westminster on Saturday and I saw children as young as 5 years old with loudspeakers shouting about Israel being a terrorist state. I saw that with my own eyes. It was cheered on by their parents and other adults. I saw people with their faces covered chanting about Britain having blood on its hands. Now, at the very least, every Saturday, parts of the country are now a no-go zone for Jewish people. That's outrageous, isn't it? It's intimidating for everybody else as well. Do our police force and our government and other politicians and all the usual bleeding heart liberals not understand that normal, ordinary people want to be able to do normal, ordinary things with their families and not feel the need to constantly look over their shoulder for the nearest exit, not consider whether or not to go to something like a Winter Wonderland event in case somebody attacks it? We did not consent to living like this.